Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
It is great to be here.
Okay, before we even start, before we even look at the material we have today, I just want to do a quick reality check. Can we look at the calendar?
Okay, I see it. It is Thursday, February 12th, 2026.
February 12th. Okay. Now, I have to ask you, does it mean anything to you? Because if you look at the data, this is, statistically speaking, a very dangerous time of year.
Dangerous. That sounds a little intense. I mean, what are we talking about here? Dangerous for the economy or?
No. Dangerous for our dreams, for our goals, our aspirations for the year. I mean, think about it. We are deep into 2026 now.
Yeah, that's
The excitement of January 1st, the fireworks, that's all a distant memory. The champagne bottle is empty, and we are left with, well, just the regular days. Reality.
Okay. I see where this is going. We've officially entered what some people call the slump.
We are squarely in the slump, and that is exactly why today's deep dive is so important. We're going to be looking at a script from a show called the English Leap Podcast, and the title of this script is A Good Start to 2026.
And it's such a fascinating text. You know, on the surface, you might think, oh, it's a guide for people learning English, and it is, but when you really get into it, and we've read it a few times now.
A few times, yes.
It's really a manual on human behavior.
Yeah.
It's about how we set goals, and maybe more importantly, how we sabotage ourselves.
Completely. And it's also, if I'm being honest, about why my gym membership card is currently gathering a little bit of dust.
Oh, come on. How long has it been?
Let's just say it's been a few days. But look, I want to say a huge welcome to everyone listening right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether you're at home, maybe you're doing the dishes and just staring out the window.
Or stuck in traffic or on a crowded train, just trying to carve out a little bit of time for yourself.
Or maybe you are at the gym and you're on the treadmill right now thinking, why am I doing this? Wherever you are, we're glad you're with us. Because today, we're going to try and solve this February problem.
We are. The source material talks about this very specific New Year feeling, and it's a really powerful feeling, isn't it? It's so seductive.
It really is. The text uses the word fresh. It even talks about the smell of a new notebook.
Oh, I know that smell. It's one of the best smells, the crisp paper.
Right. You walk into a bookstore in early January, and you see all those planners and notebooks. They're perfect, no mistakes in them yet. And you have this thought, if I just buy this notebook, my whole life will become organized and perfect.
It's a classic case of magical thinking. We think the object, the tool, will somehow do the work for us. The source paints this really vivid picture of, gyms packed with people in brand new running shoes.
Yes.
And it has this great line. It says, they're all running on a mixture of sweat and promises.
Promises. That's the word. That's the key. The promise we make to ourselves. This is the year I'm going to change overnight. The person I was yesterday, gone. It's a new me.
But then comes the cold shower. The reality check. The source points to a statistic that is, frankly, a little bit depressing.
Yeah, a little bit. It's very depressing.
It says that most people stop their New Year's resolutions by this week,
Yeah.
middle of February.
There's actually a name for it. I think some researchers call it Quitter's Day, and they pin it to the second Friday in February, which, if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, is tomorrow.
Wow. So we are right on the edge of the cliff.
We are. And that makes sense, right? The initial burst of excitement wears off. The dopamine you get from just making the plan is gone. And now all you're left with is the actual work.
The day-to-day grind of keeping the promise.
And that's where this text comes in. Our mission for this deep dive is to really dissect this script. We're not just going to read it to you. We're going to pull it apart and look at the gears, the mechanics of how to build a sustainable year.
That's a great way to put it. The goal is to help you move from a fast start, which often burns out, to a good start. And those are two very, very different things.
Okay, I am ready. I need this. Let's dive into the first big concept from the source. The author calls it the January trap.
The January trap. It does. It sounds like the title of a horror movie.
It really does. But when you look at how the source defines it, it's pretty simple. It's not some monster under the bed.
No, it's something we do to ourselves. The text defines the trap as simply the attempt to do everything at once.
Everything at once.
It's this idea that you have to overhaul your entire life. Just because the last number on the calendar flipped over from a 5 to a 6, we think we have to completely change our own personal operating system.
It's such a glitch in our thinking, isn't it? I feel it every single year. I wake up on January 1st, and I don't just want to be a slightly better version of myself. I want to be a total upgrade. version 2.0.
And what does this 2.0 version of you do?
Oh, he's incredible. He wakes up at sunrise and meditates. He reads classic literature. He definitely has six-pack abs. He speaks 3 languages fluently. He's not real.
Laughs, right. He exists as an idea. But the source gives some very specific, very relatable examples of this trap, especially for anyone trying to learn something new, like a language. I think we should go through them.
Let's do it. What's the first one?
The first example of the trap is waking up at 5 a.m.
The classic, the
Yeah.
holy grail of productivity gurus everywhere.
Exactly. The 5 a.m. club. Now, you have to be honest. Have you tried this one?
Of course I've tried it. A couple of years ago, I was so motivated. I set my alarm for 5 a.m. It goes off. It's pitch black outside. It's cold.
How did it go?
I did it for about 3 days. And for those 3 days, I felt like a superhero. I felt so productive. And then on the 4th day, on Thursday, I think I hit the snooze button until about 8:45 a.m. I was late for a meeting, and I just felt like a complete failure.
And that story is the perfect illustration of what the text is warning us about. It's too much of a shock to the system. If you're a person who normally wakes up at 8 a.m., switching to 5 a.m. isn't a small adjustment. The source implies it's like a form of violence against your own body clock.
Violence. I like that. It felt like violence. Okay, what's the second example from the text?
Eating only salad.
Ah, yes. The great January cleanse. No more fun, no more joy. Just leaves.
Just cold, wet leaves in a bowl for every meal.
It sounds so miserable.
Yeah.
But again, I totally get the impulse. You spend December enjoying yourself, eating cake, having fun. So you feel this need to punish yourself in January.
It's the pendulum swinging from one extreme to the other. We go from 100% indulgence to 0. And then there's a third example, and this one is probably the most relevant for anyone listening who's trying to learn English.
What is it?
The trap is telling yourself, I will study English for 3 hours every single day.
3 hours every day. I mean, who has that kind of time? Seriously.
That's the whole point. Almost nobody does. But in that January mindset, that new year, new me energy, you convince yourself you can find it. You tell yourself, okay, I'll just sacrifice my sleep and my lunch break and any time I might have spent relaxing.
And the source has a name for this whole way of thinking. It called it the new me fallacy.
Yes, a fallacy, it's a mistaken belief, an error in your logic. We believe we can just generate a whole new personality out of thin air on January 1st.
But you can't. The source reminds us you're still you. You're the same person you were on December 31st. You still have the same job, the same family, the same energy levels. You still get tired.
And you still get bored. Let's be honest, studying grammar rules for 3 hours straight is boring. I don't care how motivated you are on day 1. By day 5, it's a chore.
Okay, but let me push back on this for a second. Isn't it good to be ambitious? Shouldn't we, aim high? People always say, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. If I aim for 3 hours and I only manage to do 1 hour, isn't that still better than just aiming for 10 minutes?
That is such a common and understandable argument. And in some areas of life, it works.
Right.
But the source makes a very strong case that for building sustainable habits, that logic is actually flawed. It backfires. When it comes to habits, if you aim for the moon 3 hours and you miss, you don't land gently among the stars.
That happens.
You crash and burn, you fall all the way back to Earth, and you're left with this overwhelming feeling of failure. And what do we do when we feel like a failure?
We quit.
We quit. It's the emotional fallout from missing the huge goal that does the real damage.
That makes so much sense. It's not the failure to do the thing, it's the feeling about the failure.
Exactly. And there's this perfect little anecdote in the source material that just illustrates this so well. It's a story about a character who falls right into this trap.
Oh, I know the one you mean, the grammar book incident.
Yes. The character admits, I once bought 5 different English grammar books on January 1st.
5 of them. Can you imagine carrying that bag home from the bookstore? It must have been so heavy.
Forget the weight. Imagine the cost. That's a serious financial investment in your failure.
But think about the feeling in that moment. Walking out of the store with that heavy bag of books. You feel brilliant, don't you? You feel like you've already accomplished something huge.
That's the dopamine hit. That's the trap right there. The act of buying the tools feels like you're doing the work. Your brain gives you the reward, that little burst of happiness just for the purchase.
And then you get home and you take the 5 pristine books out of the bag and you stack them up on your desk and they just sit there staring at you.
And the character says, I opened maybe 1.
Maybe 1. And I bet they didn't even finish chapter 1.
Probably not, because the stack of 5 books becomes a symbol of this impossibly huge goal. It's intimidating.
This is so painfully relatable. I have a shelf in my house that I call the graveyard of good intentions. It is filled with books I bought because I thought they would magically make me smarter or more skilled, and I've never even cracked the spine.
Everyone has that shelf. It's the physical evidence of the January trap. It represents our belief in what the source calls the big jump.
The big jump. That's a really important term in the text.
It is, and the source presents it as the problem. And then it immediately contrasts it with the solution, the antidote to the big jump.
Which is the small step.
It almost sounds too simple, doesn't it? The small step. It's not exciting. It's not dramatic. You're not going to make a viral video about your small step.
No. Today, I took a massive leap forward that gets a lot of likes. Today, I took one tiny step. Nobody cares. But the source argues that the big jump is a fantasy.
It's a fantasy because we spend so long waiting for the perfect moment to take it. We wait for that mythical day when we'll have 3 uninterrupted hours of free time to finally start studying English seriously.
And that day never comes. Life is what happens. The kids have to be picked up from school, your boss schedules a last-minute meeting, the Wi-Fi goes down, the 3 hours never appear.
So we end up doing 0.
And that's the equation in the text that just blew my mind when I read it. It's aim for 3 hours.
Wow.
End up doing 0 hours.
Versus the alternative that the source proposes. Commit to just 10 minutes.
10 minutes. It
There.
feels, I don't know, it feels almost insultingly easy. Like, can you really make any progress in just 10 minutes? If my big goal for 2026 is to become fluent, surely 10 minutes a day is just, it's not enough, is it?
And that skepticism is totally valid. On any given day, 10 minutes feels like nothing. It feels insignificant. But the source asks us to do the math. Let's zoom out.
Okay.
10 minutes every single day. Over a year, that adds up to over 60 hours of focused practice.
60 hours. Okay.
Now, compare that to the person who aims for 3 hours a day. They do it for the first week of January, feel overwhelmed, quit by February, and then do nothing for the next 11 months. How much practice did they get? Maybe 20 hours total.
So the person who did less each day ended up doing 3 times more over the year, the tortoise and the hare.
It's the tortoise and the hare every single time when it comes to building habits. The most important takeaway from this whole section is a simple formula. 10 minutes is infinitely greater than 0 minutes.
Right. Because once you've done 0, the streak is broken, and it's hard to start again. But if you do 10 minutes...
You've won the day, you've beaten the trap, and there's a huge psychological win there too. When you hit your goal of 10 minutes, you get to check that box, you feel a sense of accomplishment, you feel good.
Instead of feeling guilty and ashamed that you didn't manage to do the impossible 3 hours.
Exactly. And as the source implies, shame is a terrible motivator for learning. But that feeling of success, that's powerful fuel. It makes you want to show up again tomorrow.
The source really sums this all up with a big perspective shift. It says, 2026 is a journey, not a race.
A journey, not a race. It's such a simple distinction, but it changes everything. If you're running a 100-meter race, you sprint. You go all out.
But you can't sprint a marathon.
You can't. If you're on a long journey, a long hike, you have to pace yourself. You don't have to be the fastest. You just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
I think that just takes so much pressure off. If you're listening to this, the message is, you don't have to be perfect today. You don't have to transform your life today. You just have to do 10 minutes.
That's it. That's the win.
Okay. So we figured out how to avoid the trap. We commit to small, manageable steps. But that leads us to the next problem, which the source addresses. Even if we're only trying to do 10 minutes, what if we do it badly?
Yes. The fear of making mistakes. Perfectionism.
Exactly. The text moves into a second section here, and it's called the clean slate. It uses this really great metaphor. Now, we should probably explain what a clean slate actually means.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's an older phrase. Historically, a slate was, a small piece of dark stone, basically a mini blackboard, that students used in schools centuries ago. They'd write on it with chalk, and when they made a mistake or wanted to start a new problem, they would just wipe it clean with a cloth, erase everything.
So to have a clean slate means to have a fresh start, a new beginning with no past mistakes.
Exactly. It's a blank page in a new notebook. It's a brand new document on your computer.
And that sounds wonderful, doesn't it? I mean, who doesn't love a fresh start? It feels so full of potential and optimism.
It does, but, and this is what's so insightful about this source, there's a hidden dark side to the clean slate.
The text calls it the psychology of fear.
Yes, This is so interesting. The text makes the argument that a perfect, clean slate can actually make us afraid. It can paralyze us.
Afraid of what? It's just a blank page.
We're afraid of messing it up. It's perfect, it's pristine, it's white and clean, and we don't want to be the one to make the first ugly mark on it.
Okay. I get that. You don't want to ruin the perfection.
Right. What if the first thing I write is messy? What if it's crooked? What if it's just wrong?
And the source gives a really specific example of this for English learners. It talks about that new 2026 planner we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You buy this beautiful diary or planner. It's got a fancy cover, high-quality paper. You plan to write one sentence in English in it every day.
But then you hesitate. You don't write in it on January 1st or January 2nd.
And why not? The source says it's because deep down you feel like your English isn't good enough for the beautiful book yet.
You think, I'll make a grammar mistake or a spelling error, and then this perfect planner will be ruined forever.
Exactly. So you wait. You tell yourself, I'll start writing in it when my English is better, when I'm fluent.
But that's a complete paradox. You can't get fluent unless you practice writing.
Precisely. It's the same logic as saying, I'll go to the gym once I'm already strong. It just doesn't work that way. The work is what gets you there.
So to fight this paralysis, the text gives us a very clear rule. It's called the Good Start Rule.
And it is so simple and so liberating. What is the rule?
The rule is, make a mess.
I love that so much. Make a mess. It's so counterintuitive. Our whole lives, especially in school, we're taught to be neat, to be tidy, to be correct.
Right. A red pen mark on your homework meant you did something wrong. It was a sign of failure. But the source completely reframes this. It says a good start to learning requires making a mess. You cannot build a new skill without it.
And it gives us a really practical strategy, something you could do literally right after listening to this.
It does. The text says to give yourself this instruction. Today, I will write 3 messy sentences.
3 messy sentences, not 3 perfect ones.
Not grammatically flawless sentences.
Messy ones.
And there's this line, they might have mistakes, but they are your sentences.
That concept of ownership is so powerful. It's a total mindset shift.
It is. Even if the grammar's all wrong, the idea came from your brain. You created something. You didn't just consume it.
Okay, can we try this? Can you give me a messy sentence right now, just off the top of your head?
A messy one. Okay, let's see. Yesterday I got to store for buy milk. Perfect. Good. And for buy. Totally wrong. Your old English teacher would be horrified.
She would. I can feel her disappointment from you.
Did I understand what you meant?
I think so, yeah.
Of course. I understood you perfectly. The communication was successful, and more importantly, you produced language. You didn't just read it.
The source even goes a step further. It tries to completely reframe what a mistake even means. It says, if you're in a coffee shop and you make a mistake.
Like maybe you use the wrong word or the wrong verb tense when you're ordering your coffee.
Usually that feeling is just pure embarrassment. Your face gets hot. You feel stupid.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there. It's a feeling of shame. But the source says, no, that's not what it is. That mistake is proof.
Proof of what?
It's proof that you are using the language. And it has this beautiful phrase for it. It says, you are alive in the language.
Alive in the language. I like that.
It's so poetic, but it's also true. It means the language isn't some dead thing you're studying in a textbook, like a butterfly pinned in a display case. It's a living, breathing tool that you are actively using in the real world.
And to really drive this point home, the source uses a great visual analogy. It talks about building a house.
Yes. It says, every messy sentence is a brick.
One brick.
Think about building a house. You need thousands and thousands of bricks to build the walls.
Right, a huge pile of them.
One single sentence is just one of those bricks. Maybe it's a little chipped on the corner. Maybe it's not perfectly shaped. It doesn't matter.
Because the source says, don't worry about the roof. Just lay the brick.
That is such fantastic advice. We are so often paralyzed because we're worried about the roof, which is, being fluent, having a perfect accent, understanding everything.
But we haven't even laid the foundation yet. We're worrying about what color to paint the walls when we haven't even built the walls.
So the advice is just to focus on today. Lay one brick. Write one messy sentence. Speak one imperfect phrase.
Just get something done.
Just get it done. Because a wall that's built out of slightly imperfect bricks is still a strong wall, but a wall made of no bricks at all. That's just empty space.
That's a powerful image. Okay, so to recap where we are, we have to avoid the January trap by taking small steps.
Right.
And we have to embrace the clean slate by giving ourselves permission to make a mess.
Exactly. But there's a third piece to this puzzle. Because even if you have the perfect mindset, the world around us is actively working against us. It's trying to break our focus.
The source calls this section focus over noise.
Focus over noise.
So let's start by identifying the enemy. What exactly is the noise that the text is talking about?
The source is very clear about this. The noise is, first and foremost, the constant barrage of advertisements and media.
Oh, absolutely. The ads.
They are screaming at you from every screen. Buy this product. Try this new method.
Change your entire life in just 24 hours.
Learn any language fluently in 30 days.
Ugh, I hate those ones. The ones that promise a magic pill. Learn English in your sleep.
If only. But it's not just ads. It's the sheer volume of information. It's overwhelming, and it creates a constant state of anxiety.
And the text really hones in on the impact of social media in particular.
This is a huge factor in the modern world.
We're just scrolling through our phones. And what do we see? We see everyone else's highlight reel. Their perfect start to 2026.
You see the influencer who's posting a picture of their 4 a.m. green juice and the stack of philosophy books they've already read before you've even managed to get out of bed.
Or the language learner who posts a video of their color-coded, flawless vocabulary notes, and you look at your own messy notebook and just feel inadequate.
Right. And what's the result of consuming all of that content?
The source says it makes us feel like we are behind.
We feel like we're losing a race.
A race that, as we've already established, we're not even supposed to be in.
Exactly. But the feeling is very real. And this leads to something the text calls the passive learning trap.
The passive learning trap. This one is really subtle and really dangerous because it feels like you're being productive.
It does. Can you describe what this trap actually looks like in practice?
Yeah. The source gives a perfect example. Imagine you sit down to study English. You open your laptop, you go on YouTube, and you search how to learn English fast.
Okay.
And you find hundreds of videos. The 10 best tricks, the secret method, what the polyglots don't tell you. And you spend the next 2 hours watching these videos.
And you're nodding along, you're taking notes, you're thinking, wow, that's a great idea, I should try that. You feel like you've had a really productive study session,
Right.
But you spent 0 minutes actually speaking, writing, or reading in English.
0.
You consumed a lot of information about the language, but you didn't produce or engage with the language itself.
And that's the great irony. You can spend an entire evening studying English without speaking or writing a single word of it.
Right. The videos, the articles about learning, that's the noise.
It's like watching sports, isn't it? I can sit on my couch and watch a professional football match for 2 hours. I can analyze every play.
Does watching that match make you a better football player?
No. It makes me a better spectator. If I want to get better at playing, I have to go outside and kick a ball around, even if I'm terrible at it.
That is the perfect analogy. So the source gives us a mantra to fight this.
The mantra is focus over noise.
Simple and direct.
And the text explains the method. It says, you should aim to be the person who speaks English, even badly, for 5 minutes, rather than the person who watches 10 videos about how to speak English perfectly.
That's a hard truth, but it's such an important one. 5 minutes of active, messy practice is worth more than 2 hours of passive consumption.
1,000%. Because one is active, the other is passive. One is playing the game, the other is sitting in the stands.
And the source gives some very concrete, actionable steps we can all take to try and reclaim our focus. Because let's be honest, our devices are engineered to steal it from us.
It does. The first step is so simple. Turn off notifications for 15 minutes.
Just 15 minutes. It's not forever. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Better yet, put it in another room.
And then, in that quiet space you've created, do one small, active thing.
What are some of the examples it gives?
It lists a few. It says, listen to a podcast.
Like this one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But listen actively.
Ah.
Don't just have it on as background noise while you're doing 5 other things.
Or it says read one page.
Just one. Not the whole book. Just one page.
Or my favorite one, talk to yourself in the mirror.
I do this all the time. My family thinks I'm going crazy.
It's not crazy. It's one of the best forms of speaking practice there is. The point of all these activities is to disconnect from the noise of the internet and just connect directly with the language itself.
There is a quote in this section of the text that I highlighted because it really hit me. It sums up this whole philosophy.
For sure.
The source says, your life in 2026 happens in those quiet, focused moments, not in the noisy likes on your phone.
That's good.
It is, isn't it? Real progress Real learning, it happens in the quiet. It happens when no one's watching, when you're not performing for an audience. It's just you and the work.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We really have.
We've talked about the January trap and the clean slate and the noise.
But now we need to bring it all together. We need the big conclusion. What's the one idea that ties all of this together?
The final section of the text is called The Power of Showing Up.
Showing up. It's such a simple phrase, but it feels like it holds so much meaning.
It does, because according to this source, it contains the entire definition of success for the year.
So I have to ask the big question then. According to this text, what is the single most important thing to remember from all of this?
The answer is that success in 2026 isn't about being brilliant. It isn't about being perfect. It is simply just showing up.
Just showing up. That's it.
That's it. It doesn't mean every day has to be a great day. It doesn't mean you have to feel motivated every day. It just means you have to be there. You have to sit down and do the 10 minutes.
And the text makes a really important clarification here. It says this applies especially when
You are tired.
right, when you've had a long, stressful day at work, when it's dark and raining outside, when every part of your body just wants to collapse on the sofa and watch mindless television.
That specific moment, the moment when you don't want to do it, that is the moment that defines your progress.
Why that moment? Why does that matter more than the days when it feels easy and fun?
Because, as the source explains, that is when the habit is truly forged in fire. It says that practicing when you don't feel like it, that's a victory.
A victory. That's a really strong word for it.
It is. But it's true. It means you won the battle against your own resistance. You won the internal argument against your own laziness or fatigue.
And that's how you build a real habit. A habit isn't defined by what you do when you're feeling good and motivated. A habit is what you do by default, even when it's hard.
Exactly.
So to bring this entire deep dive to a close, the source material doesn't just leave us with ideas, it gives us a mission.
A 2026 mission. I like that.
It's a very specific task for you, the listener. And the instruction is to do it right now, not later today, not tomorrow, right now.
And the task is this. Write down one small goal for this week.
One small goal.
And pay close attention to the constraint that the text adds here. This is so important.
Yes, it says very clearly, not a goal for the entire year, just for this week.
This is crucial. This is how you avoid the January trap all over again. Don't write down, I will become fluent in English in 2026. That's a wish, not a goal. It's too big.
Instead, write something concrete and small, like, this week, I will listen to one English song and write down the lyrics. Or, I will learn 5 new vocabulary words related to my job.
Precisely. Something small. Something you can actually achieve in the next 7 days.
And there's a real sense of urgency in the text's final words.
Yes. When should you do this?
Today,
Now.
not tomorrow.
And definitely not Monday.
Oh, we love to put things off until Monday, don't we? Monday feels like a mini New Year's Day.
It does. We have this fantasy that on Monday, we'll magically be a new person with more energy and discipline. But we won't be.
Nope. We'll be the same tired person we are today.
So the source says, don't wait for later. Later is a trap.
Just do it now. Even if it's just grabbing a napkin and a pen and writing down that one small goal, the act of writing it down makes it real.
And the final slogan, the last line of the script, is this. Action beats a big plan every time.
I think I'm going to get that printed on a t-shirt. Action beats a big plan.
So let's do a final quick summary of what we've learned today from this text.
Let's recap the 3 main pillars for a good start.
Pillar number 1, avoid the January trap.
Remember, small steps are more powerful than giant leaps. 10 minutes a day is better than 3 hours once. Don't try to become a different person in one day.
Pillar number 2, embrace the clean slate.
Don't be afraid of the blank page. Give yourself permission to make a mess. Write messy sentences. Lay one brick. Remember that mistakes are not a sign of failure. They are proof that you are alive in the language.
And pillar number 3, choose focus over noise.
Turn off the distractions. Be a player, not a spectator. Don't just watch videos about English. Actually use English, even if it's just for 5 minutes in a quiet room.
And tying it all together, show up.
Even when you're tired, especially when you're tired, that is where the real victory lies.
Do you have any final words of encouragement for everyone listening based on this text?
I do. The text leaves us with this one beautiful, reassuring thought. It says, you don't need to be the best. You just need to be there.
You should need to be there.
So please just be there for yourself, for your goals. Just keep showing up.
I want to say thank you so much to everyone for listening to this deep dive. Thank you for spending some of the start of your year here with us.
It really is a privilege to be a small part of your journey.
And just remember that a good start isn't some huge dramatic event. A good start is just a small step taken today.
Exactly. Now go take that step.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
Bye, everyone.